I've had a garage gym for close to 10 years now. During that time, I've found out what equipment I liked, and I've also swapped out a bunch of gear that didn't quite fit my needs. Up until this point though, nothing has quite impressed me like this rack right here. What's up friends, Adam Corson here, and today I'm reviewing the Mikolo M4 All-in-One 2.0 Elite. Now I've been testing this rack in my garage here for a few weeks, and I'm gonna break down everything from assembly to features, how it performs, pros, cons, and who this rack is actually for. Now we have a ton to cover today, so let's get right into it. When it comes to first impressions, this rack is such a statement piece. I will say that Mikolo did a really good job with the overall aesthetics. Whenever somebody walks into the garage, they're immediately drawn to this rack, and they always have really positive things to say. I personally love the red pops throughout and just how clean it looks as an overall unit. The rack arrived in 8 total boxes, which to be honest was a little overwhelming at first, but the assembly was actually really straightforward. I took my time putting it together, I didn't rush anything at all, and with the help of my dad, it took us right around 6 hours. I went to this build with the mindset that this was going to be a bit of a process, and this kept me from getting stressed or frustrated, which is really easy to do with big scale builds like this. The directions were really straightforward, so kudos to Mikolo for taking the time to make thorough directions. And on top of that, there is an install video on their website, which I actually didn't even need to refer to because of how good the paper directions actually were. The one thing I will note though, is that if you get the Elite version with the weight stacks like this here, when you get to step 10, there's a separate set of directions that come in the box that the weight stacks are in, and you'll need to reference that because the paper directions are kind of universal for this rack, and the weight stack is the one thing that differs from this rack to the other versions. That's really the only thing I would encourage Mikolo to add though, because if they did that, the directions would be crystal clear. When it comes to the included attachments, this rack comes with 2 handles, a lat pull down bar, dip attachments, spotter arms, landmine attachment, 3 sets of clips, a tricep rope, ankle attachment, J-hooks, carabiners, chains, a straight bar, and a row attachment to hook up to your barbell. The cool part is every one of these attachments has an intentionally designed space on this rack, so you won't have a mess of attachments just lying all over your gym floor. When storing plates, there's 3 spots on each side. The bottom 2 fit full-size bumper plates, and the top one is for your smaller change plates. Having toddlers in the house, I did go ahead and add some extra clips on the end of these lower storage sections because the plastic material on here makes it really easy to slide the plates on and off of the rack, and I was worried that my kids would actually be able to do it by themselves. On the back side of the rig, there are 2 barbell holders. Each one is lined with the plastic material, and the bottom of the bar sits on top of this rubber stopper, so you don't need to worry about scratching or damaging your barbells when storing them. Now my ceiling is a little bit too short for me to fit full-size barbells back here, so just take that into consideration if you do plan on using that attachment. When it comes to the dimensions, the rack stands at 87.5 inches tall, 75 inches wide from Smith bar end to end, and has a 71-inch depth without the spotter arms. If you add those arms on, you're right around 80 inches deep. The material is 14 gauge steel with 2-inch hole spacing and 1-inch holes. There's also laser etched numbers on each upright, making it really easy to use accessories or even set cable height. The cable weight capacity is 500 pounds, and the J-hook and Smith bar capacities are both at 800 pounds. Something that I really like is this high pulley position at 73.5 inches, really allowing you to get a full range of motion. The Smith bar can also be stored up nice and high, out of the way, and that sits right at 73 inches. I did want to quickly mention at this point that if you want to learn more about this rack, or if you want to buy one for yourself, I'll post a link down below. That'll get you a discount, and it'll help to support and continue to grow this channel. Now let's get into what this rack can actually do and break down how it performs. Being a longtime CrossFit coach, I love for my workouts to be constantly varied, and this trainer gives you an incredible amount of options. Let's start with the Smith bar. The bar weighs 35 pounds and is guided on this steel track. The bar has a nice medium knurling and glides along this track very smoothly. I really like 1, the amount of hooks that are offered, and 2, how high the hooks go, allowing you not only a large range of motion, but also making for great storage. At the highest position, users up to 6'1" can navigate in and out of this rack without hitting their head. Another piece that was really thought through were these safety springs. These are adjustable and they act very similarly to the spotter arms. If you're really planning to get heavy and have concerns about being able to rotate that bar back into place, this is another great safety mechanism that allows you to push the limits confidently. Honestly, I'd be so happy with this setup without even having the Smith bar attached to it here, so it just seems like it's a huge added bonus to me. When looking at the pulleys, this is what really makes the rack stand out. This candy red is such a cool color combo with the black, and it just gives off such a clean vibe. There's 18 total pulleys on this rack, and they're all made out of aluminum. I'm really impressed with how smooth and quiet they are. I don't feel any sort of drag or added resistance when using the cables. There is a tiny bit of resistance, however, when moving the cable attachment up and down, but I can still pretty much raise and lower it one-handed without any issues. Being the Elite model, this has the dual weight stacks, which really takes this rack to the next level. There's 12 plates per side, equaling 132 pounds per stack. There's also the ability to load on additional plates if you wanted to get even heavier. The stacks are incredibly convenient and save so much time, especially if you're sharing this space with others. I mean, this feature alone honestly makes it feel like I have a commercial gym setup right here at home. Now let's talk attachments. Earlier I mentioned movements like lat pull downs, cable rows, different variations like that, and this right here is the attachment that makes all those movements possible. This is the 3-in-1 thigh pad, foot plate, and step. I really like how easy it is to set this up and to change positions. To hook it in, all you have to do is set it right into the rack and click it in, and then to release it, all you do is pull this pin out and lift up. This attachment can easily be changed from a thigh pad to a foot plate by pulling this top knob here and rotating it forward. As a bonus, it adds as a step for shorter people who don't want to jump to have to get all the way up to the pull-up bar. The landmine attachment is also very easy to move around and features this quick release pin. All you have to do is open this ring up and pull the pin right out. Now, I've used other landmines that require an Allen wrench to change the position, which can be really annoying and inconvenient, and honestly you never end up changing the position. But with this one here, there's 5 holes on each side of the rack, so the versatility that you have to move this thing all over is really cool. The resistance band pegs also use the same mechanism, allowing you to swap those out quickly if either you wanted to put the landmine in a different place or just if you want to move those around. Looking at the J-hooks now, it's a sandwich round J-hook which features a 6-inch deep landing zone, and they're coated in a UHMW-PE lining, which is a fancy acronym meaning a durable, tough plastic material. This prevents both the barbell and the attachments from getting scratched or damaged when using the hooks. The spotter arms also have a plastic covering along the top, which will help to reduce barbell damage. The arms measure at 20 inches, giving you plenty of room to use them while squatting or doing different type of lifts out in front of the rack. Next is the dip bars. They feature 2 different grip options and have rubber handles that have a non-slip texture to them. Mikolo also added some texture to the pull-up bars, which gives stability and confidence again if you're doing things with really sweaty hands. There's also a few different grip options to choose from here, adding to the overall variety and just the versatility of what this rack can do. The last thing I'll touch on is the bench, the barbell, and the bumper plates. Because I did the Elite bundle, those items also came with this set. The bench is an FID, which stands for flat, incline, decline. There's 12 positions for the back of the bench and 3 positions for the seat of the bench. There's also a removable leg roller system, which comes in clutch when doing any sort of decline or core movements. I also like that this padded block comes with the bench to fill the gap if you're doing any flat bench work. The bench features wheels, which makes it easy to move around, and it can be stored vertically to reduce the amount of space needed. The included bumper set comes with 10s, 25s, 35s, and 45s. The colors are nice and vibrant, and since this is the Easy Grip model, each plate has these indentions on them and grip textures on the side, making them easy to move around. The plates do feel durable and well built, so I'll report back in a few months and let you guys know how they're holding up. Last, we'll touch on the barbell. The barbell features 8 needle bearings, which makes for a nice and smooth rotation. It has dual markings, which is helpful for hand placement if you do any sort of Olympic lifting, and I'd say it's about a medium knurling, very comparable to other bars that I've used in the past. I really like the matte black finish with the little gold accents. It's a good, clean overall aesthetic. Similar to the bumpers, it seems to be super solid, so as I put more time in on this bar and beat on it a bit, I'll report back on this as well. Let's talk pros and cons. For the pros, first is storage. It is so convenient to be able to store everything right here on this rack. Having the rear storage really keeps the footprint small and organized. Second to versatility. There is so much to do on this rack, it's insane. It's so easy to be creative with your workouts and to keep them engaging. Third is the fact that it's freestanding, so no bolting through your concrete or drilling into your walls. Fourth, the cables. Super smooth, super quiet. I've been on some pretty poor and beat up cable systems, and this definitely isn't that. Fifth is the safety features. If you work out alone, you can do so much on this piece of equipment with confidence because of all the safety measures that we spoke about here today. And finally, the overall look. This rack is very attractive. It really is a statement piece, and everyone who walks into my garage has good things to say about it. Now for the cons. The first is the pull-up bar height. It's not a problem for me, but for taller people, they may need to tuck their legs to get a full extension at the bottom of that pull-up rep. Second is that there's a very slight wobble to this rack. Nothing that feels concerning in any way. I do all sorts of CrossFit movements on here with confidence, and this rack is rated for over 2,000 pounds, which is pretty crazy, but just know that it is there. And last, this one kind of falls under both categories, but it's the weight storage. If you don't have anyone who might pull off these weights like my toddlers, it's great, but if you have little ones, it's probably worth getting some clips on here so that they don't pull those weights off onto themselves. I personally believe that the pros far outweigh the cons, but it's my duty to put all the information out there so you can make the best educated decision for yourself. Now in Mikolo Fitness's mission, they mention the 3 S's: safety, smooth, and smart. After putting this rack through a few good weeks of testing, I'd say they nailed all 3 of those. This rack has brought an incredible amount of variety into my gym. It's safe, it's well built, and the whole family really enjoys it. I'm definitely impressed with this product as a whole and look forward to training on it for years and years to come. Now, if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them below. And if you aren't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can continue to follow along on this journey with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.